What's up, my fellow modern minorities? Welcome back. Thank you for joining us once again. This yo man Kuro sitting here with yo man
Shiro. How you all doing again? Thank you very much. I just want to start off with a congratulations to Mr. Abe, Shinzo Abe, third term Prime Minister of Japan.
Omedetou gozaimasu.
And I'm pretty sure many of you may not know, but he's trying to change something that, I kind of, within the Constitution, obviously, the MacArthur Japanese Constitution. Again, let's just stress that. It's the MacArthur Constitution of Japan. That he wants to change the big article number 9.
So our topic today is...
That's our topic today.
Article 9.
Article 9. And I'm pretty sure we both have our way of what we think about Article 9. But let me go ahead and say the Article 9, I believe, is really hindering Japan as a country in trying to create its own path. So that's
it doesn't work for the modern age. Not this
modern Japan
the modern global
right.
world. I mean, this whole war on terror bullshit.
Right. So that's my feeling for now. I would like to hear Kuro-chan's thinking about this big topic. I'm pretty sure Japanese people are going through it. So, what's your thought, Kuro?
My feelings have always been mixed about that whole Article 9. For the people who don't know what Article 9 is, it's basically in the Constitution saying that Japan can't legally fight a war.
Right.
And it can't solve its problems with war.
So what it does is it restricts some of the military might. It gives them a certain amount of parameters of what they can and can't do. Now, Japan does have a self-defense force, but it cannot attack or strike.
Well, it's more like a security police. It's like a peacekeeping corps.
Right.
Within Japan.
Right, within Japan.
It's basically Japan just basically turned into one big army base for America.
That's what it is.
Article 9 made sure that Japan could never rebel against America.
So the Article 9 itself, generally, the reason why I feel it needs to be amended is because it pretty much puts Japan in a puppet state of the United States, as you said. It's basically, as you said in prior videos, it's another Guam, but bigger.
Yeah. Well, they're trying to make it like Guam.
Well, yeah.
The only thing closest to that they were able to make would be Okinawa.
Yeah, and
my peoples are from.
But that's where I'm from. Yeah, that's
God, that's even a whole nother
topic
video. But
yes,
it's basically became one big American army base.
Right, and the geopolitical policies from the United States. Bottom line, Japan has to somewhat follow through. Has to basically kowtow to what the United States foreign policy is consistently. Japan cannot decide by itself. It needs to ask the United States, "This is what I'm doing. Are you okay with it?" And then sometimes, if the United States says no, Japan has to capitulate because of that fucking Article 9. Japanese people and the government cannot, unfortunately, create or make their own decision for the nation. That's my issue. It doesn't look out for the nation. It looks out for the United States foreign policy mission. And to me, that's fucked up.
Well, it's biased.
Oh, of course, yeah. Even so, what that does is that, you got these military bases all throughout Japan. You got Awamori, Sagaken, Iwakuni, Yoyosuku, or Yosuku.
All right, we don't need to name them all 500 of them. Let's just
Right.
let's just
the main
tell you
one-
there's a gang of motherfucking
Right.
bases over there.
Especially the small island of Okinawa, where 98% of the military bases are basically in Okinawa itself. Now, again, with that Article 9, it pretty much hinders Japan from making their own decision itself. And with those bases in Japan, it just basically degrades, to me, the sovereign nation of Japan itself and its people.
Wait, that's what happens when you lose a war. You get punished.
I know, but I think it's time
You
for
get occupied.
If you could say if you feel comfortable saying that Japan's still being occupied by the United States, feel free, Kuro. I'm not going to argue with that. No,
They're trying still, but Japan was able to keep itself Japan.
So
It didn't become like Guam or Hawaii. Or,
right, and I think it's time for Japan to create its own path. Does not be hindered by these foreign dumbass policies. Again, not all policies in the United States are dumb. I'm just saying, let the Japanese government and the Japanese people decide on their own, rather than being constantly looking over, or having the United States looking over Japan's shoulder constantly.
Well, we also have our Asian neighbors, like China and
Right.
South Korea. They're kind of worried about Japan reverting back to
That's okay.
they're gonna go crazy once they take out that Article 9. Japan's
Right.
gonna go get himself a couple guns
That's
and like start that whole World War II bullshit all over again. I mean, is that even an argument?
That's not okay. The argument has been constantly been heard of. I read articles. I see on YouTube that people who are for Article 9, that's what they fear. And let me tell you, your fear is unwarranted, and I'll tell you why. It's something called globalization. Most big major Japanese countries are global, meaning it's no longer the 1950s where all those companies were all domestic. You got big Japanese global countries, companies out globally. Do you think about it, do you think Japan is willing to sacrifice their economy, their reputation on something that may or may not work? I mean, people, come on. Look at the global picture. Do you think Japan and the Japanese companies is willing to shoot them in their arms just for maybe a couple of property? And again, that happens. Again, the whole world's going to be condemning against it. It's like, please, give me a break. You don't have this, you don't have the same type of environment that you had during those eras, the 1940s. Okay, where natural resources were very scarce. Japan was trying to develop into a superpower at that time, and they need more natural resources. Now, I agree. There's more reasoning behind it. I understand it. I'm not gonna get into it, but just think about it, guys. Do you think Japan's willing to sacrifice their own economy just to prove themselves again?
What's there to prove? I mean,
That's what I'm saying. That's nothing to prove. I mean, we're not gonna. This is not 1940s where most of the countries are not industrialized. You got countries that are pretty much like China has probably more ships, more armor than most of half the world. Yeah, are we condemning China for military buildup? Like, what are you going to do with that military? What's the reason behind this military buildup?
They better not ask as long as Japan don't do it.
Well, of course not. Exactly. That's the problem. Yeah. These people are concerned about Japan's small little buildup. Like maybe another destroyer or one little carrier compared to how many ships that China is building, how many rockets China is building, how many military armors, how many drones that they're creating for military purposes. Where's the outrage?
Well, because China has a pretty good track record. It hasn't invaded its neighbors. By military force.
Exactly.
I'm not gonna say maybe by influence.
Exactly.
or moving in.
Exactly.
Setting up Chinatown over there. But
absolutely. That's what I'm saying. You guys just really think about this whole big picture itself. This is 2018. Things change. You're thinking about the old school, the 1940s, the 1930s. It's a different time. But now it is globalization. Everything's interlocked. Everything's global. One country affects the other, i.e. the trade war that's happening between the United States and China. Obviously, if it's only two countries that are arguing, but obviously all the other countries are being affected. So think about that. It's simple in that sense. If you think about it that way, you then now understand that, okay, you know what? Why can't we defend ourselves? Why can't we just be, again, defending our own country?
Because, man, Japan, we have a bad record, man. We might go rape crazy again, dude.
Yeah, one bad record out of how many times? I'll be honest with you. I'm pretty sure the United States doesn't have a clean record.
No, dude, we do punitive strikes.
That's
true. They gotta fuck with us first, and then we strike them back. And they gotta have like weapons of
mass destruction.
Yeah, it's like a lawsuit, man. He hit me first.
Right. I.e. Britain, Spain, France. You know.
Well, that was like hundreds of years ago, man. We're talking about,
no, but
they don't do that no more.
Please. Yeah, they're okay. Nobody has any issues of their military might, but yet when Japan decides to say, you know what, I think it's time to protect ourselves just a little bit more. It'll be nice under the threat of North Korea, China, Russia. People go up in arms. They go outrage. They protest. They think we're all warmongers. Like, as soon as we get that rid of it, we're gonna go to war. I'm like, what are you thinking, people? Let's really think about this, please, guys. Think about what you're saying.
I think it might create a little bit more pride in the country, in a sense, because look at South Korea.
Yeah, I agree.
For instance, they're one of the many Asian nations or actually another American colony.
Right.
But this time they're allowed to have guns.
Right, but that's a different topic.
But basically, every man, like as soon as they turn 18 or something, they got a mandatory 2 years service into their military.
No matter what.
No matter what, right?
Mandatory, yeah.
So, what's wrong with that? Why can't Japan have something like that? At least it's voluntarily.
Right. I mean, the big hegemon America itself. I mean, you don't see people protesting against.
Well, because Japan's America's successful.
Well,
it's only successful product of war, of winning a war, that it was able to help it rebuild and make it a modern country,
right? Just
like it did Korea. It's part of America,
right? And you know what? I just noticed that a lot of these arguments are pretty much like pre-World War II mentality. That Japan's going to revert back to the people. Like, what gives you that idea? Tell me where in society, in Japan society right now, tells you that we're gonna go back to war again, that we're gonna preempt and invade. I mean, please enlighten me. Are you gonna say that our channel is one of those rah go Japan, go Nippon? No. We're not one of those channels. We want to just tell you a different opinion about it. Again, we respect all cultures. We love everything. But we just want to make
we're just asking the question. We're just creating a dialogue. We don't need to explain ourselves. Shiro, I mean,
I know, but
I know there's a lot of other Asians that are sensitive about Japanese shit and what we got to do, and we got to walk the line with
exactly.
And we're not trying to say we hate you guys, but sometimes you guys got to look within yourself too. If a lot of the Korean Americans, a lot of Chinese Americans want to talk shit about Japan and how it did all this other shit, what about your own country?
Yeah.
I mean, how many crimes against humanity have your own government went through?
Yeah.
But it's always the goddamn Japanese
of course.
with you guys.
Of course. It's always the outsider that
it's always a goddamn 1940s Japanese.
yeah.
Damn, those motherfuckers are immortal.
Because you know why, ultimately speaking, is to hide what ultimately
it's to hide what their own government's doing.
Exactly.
And a lot of times they can't help it because it's a product of Americanism as well.
Right.
Especially with Korea. I don't know about China. China has its own thing.
Right.
But hating on the Japanese is like one of its top 3 things of like what to do. Hate on the Japanese, hate on the Muslims, the Uyghurs or whatever.
Right.
And Tibet is ours.
Right.
Oh, and fucking Taiwan.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah, fuck Taiwan.
Yeah.
That's what they hate.
Exactly.
So China, we want to be friends. Really, we want to be friends. But it all starts with you guys, too. I mean, a lot of times, if you think about it, we're so aggressive because you guys talk shit. You guys been talking shit. Fuck, ever since day one. You guys told the rest of the world that our kingdom, like we're the kingdom of Wa.
Right.
And you guys gave us that kanji, Wa. Learn it.
Exactly.
Took us like what, 100 years?
Couple.
And we're like,
that
these
shit.
motherfuckers talking shit. Japanese scholars were like finally after hundreds of years like deciphering Chinese text and like trying to learn their little millions of alphabets. They're like, damn, these motherfuckers talking shit.
Yeah, fuck that.
They're calling us dwarves. What the fuck is that?
Exactly.
They're talking shit since day one. They wrote in history saying that these little people from like the country of Wa, the little island, has like a bunch of midgets. Fuck it, let's change it to like the land of the rising sun. Just
katakana, yeah.
And a lot of times we're actually an offshoot of being Chinese ourselves.
Yeah, also speaking, yes, we are.
I mean,
yeah.
If you're light-skinned, if you're a light-skinned Japanese person, most likely your descendant came from China.
Right.
I mean, a lot of if they were to take like parts of our DNA and analyze it, you would find that we're not even 100% whatever Japanese is, because Japanese would be the Ainu or the Ryukyus,
the Yaois, or Yukians.
The Yayois and the Jomons came a little later,
right,
and even they migrated from somewhere.
Right.
They weren't like indigenous to Japan.
Right, or the Yukians down south.
Yeah. So I mean, we're basically like a hodgepodge of Asians already.
Right. No, I agree with you.
I think we're like the Happas of Asia.
Happas of Asia.
No, man, we're mixed with like every little bit of Asian. Like Japan is the last stop.
So would you say we were half Korean, half Chinese?
Hell yeah, dude. We probably have like 20% Korean, 20% Chinese, a little bit of Mongolian, a little bit of Ryukyuan, a little bit of Ainu, and like maybe 10% of like something that's distinctly Japanese, which would have been the Yayoi.
Yeah, I agree. What's the definition of pure Japanese? I mean,
there's
no tech. Yeah, I agree. There's no technically speaking of real Japanese. I mean, no pure blood Japanese. Just want to, okay. Again, this is another topic we'll talk about. I mean, what defines real Japanese? In that sense. That we'll talk about that later. But yeah, you're right, Kuro. I totally agree with you on that sense. I mean, rather than stop harping on the past. Let's look towards the future. Let's make the nation be proud of itself again.
Yeah, let's look towards each other.
Right.
I mean, I like how Japanese pop and Korean popular culture is almost mirroring each other.
Yeah, somewhat, yeah.
And Taiwanese culture, and right. It's spreading down to the Philippines.
Right.
It's expanding.
Right.
As ridiculous as it is, I have my qualms against it. You have yours.
Yeah.
I support some of it I don't. But I think at least it's coming from us, from Asia.
Right. It's not weapons. It's not swords. It's not guns. It's soft power.
It's music.
It's music, culture.
Yeah, man, it's
You know,
peace.
exactly.
It's peace and love, which it should be. You know,
Right.
I mean, if Japan would have done that in the beginning, instead of using like European centric type of like diplomacy,
Diplomacy.
Yeah,
No, that's true. No, you're
gunboat
right.
diplomacy. I mean, that's what they were introduced to,
Well,
was gunboat diplomacy when Perry entered
Right.
the door. I
Right.
mean, they thought that that's how countries act. Is that you go to another country, you kick in their door, you put their feet on the couch, and you say, "Do as I want." You know,
Right.
let me do what the fuck I want. And give me your prettiest girl.
Well, not only that. I mean, I think Japan learned from the West, the Europeans, and say, "Oh, this is how you can. That's how you could, you kick out. You make sure that nobody fucks with you."
Well, yeah, they hired fucking how many generals from Germany, like during the Franco-Prussian War.
Right. Right.
Like France lost, so
Right.
Japan picked a winner, and they sent like General, I don't know, Marxo or Markel or whatever,
Something like that. I remember. Yeah.
back in 1880,
Right. Right.
and he basically taught Japanese nationalism.
Right. And then there's a couple examples where a couple of the Japanese admirals went to like the United States
Well, yeah, dude,
because
they all studied.
they also they knew how the Western people think, and they took that and then they, I guess how would you say, they kind of went crazy on it. They go, oh, okay, let's take over
Well,
this, let's take over that.
They kind of thought that this is the way the world works, dude. If you think Japan is kind of like a monkey see, monkey do
Yeah, I agree.
type of culture. I mean, yeah, we copy a lot because we copy what works. You know,
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
we see what works and we do it.
Right.
I mean, we don't keep these stupid things for nothing, you know. And yeah, you might say we don't have an original idea or whatever, but at least we hold on to it, and we do it by the book.
Right.
You know, if we learn how one way how to tie our shoe, we spend the next 2 generations tying our shoe that way.
Even better.
Even better, you know, until the 6th generation, whatever,
Right.
and he develops a new way because he learned it from the Europeans.
Right.
Whatever, you know, we're not afraid to add and take, but I think a lot of times we are a monkey see, monkey do society, where we saw like this is what the Western world was doing.
Right.
This is how they're getting their resources.
Yeah.
Like a small island like Britain was able to control half the world.
Right. Hong Kong, Macau.
Yeah, it's like right next door, even
Right.
though it's like a half a world away.
Yeah.
There's British people like right next door. Spain,
Portugal.
Portugal, which is even
Dutch.
like smaller.
Yeah.
But yeah,
France.
Dutch, the goddamn Dutch, they're fucking, it's small, man, and they have like nothing over there because it's like the North Pole pretty much.
Well, no, not that, but yeah, I agree. And I think, people who constantly argue that point, I just say, why always looking to the past? I mean, let's look now and to the future. What has Japan done that has caused a concern? Have they ravaged? Have they preempted like sovereign countries, i.e., United States? Hello, right? Come on. I mean, Libya. We got Syria, Afghanistan, Iraq. I mean, and then being before that, small Grenada, Panama, Colombia. Shit. You can go down the list of what Americans have done. But does anybody come down to America and say, guys, you've been doing a little too much, a little preempting. Could you stop a little bit?
No, man, they throw your ass in Guantanamo Bay.
Exactly. Or you have people, of course, people out there are protesting against the war and all this stuff, but has that stopped them? Has it made any impact within the United States government? Because they don't give a fuck. They'll do what they need to do, and unfortunately, Japan is catering to that. It's hindering. To me, United States foreign policy is hindering Japan's own path as a nation.
Well, I think if Japan arms itself, it has more options on who it could be buddies with.
Of course,
Like, it doesn't have to be buddies with America anymore. Maybe they could be buddies with China.
Right.
Like, that was the only thing holding them back, was the fact that America's there.
Or biggest ally.
Yeah. I mean, what if China became Japan's biggest ally?
Right.
What if South Korea became Japan's biggest ally?
Right. Or the Philippines. That's why Japan needs to, that's why I think Japan's somewhat, you know.
It's just is afraid of losing its holdings, dude. It has too much interest in Japan.
No, but I agree in the Far East, yes. But you know what? I think it's time for Japan to say, you know what, cut that umbilical cord and say, you know what, it's time for us as a nation to look at us as a nation, not look at United States as the puppy or as the puppet. Look at Japan as a nation and let the people and the government decide what they want to do rather than being constantly dictated by the big hegemon, the United States of America. That's all. Why can't we just make our own? That's my number one gripe, and people don't understand that. That, you know what? Once you can determine, once you're unleashed, it's a blessing. A nation that can determine what it wants to do. Why can't Japan do that? What a concept. China can do whatever they want. Korea can do, South Korea can do whatever. North Korea, Philippines can pretty much do what they want. But no, Japan is one of the few nations that's still on this notion, on this leash with the United States. And I'm telling myself, like, God damn it, people, stop it. Tear down MacArthur's constitution and burn the shit out of it. And create your own fucking path. You know, I'm not going to determine what you want and can't do. You as a country needs to do that. You as a people can do that. That's your fucking right, and you're voting. You vote for these people to represent you. If you don't like it, you can boot the shit out of them. Just like how we do every fucking 4 years, and every 2 years we have a midterm.
Supposedly.
Right, exactly. So, this notion of, we can't do that. That's dangerous. Like, no, I think it's more dangerous being constantly leashed by these fucking by United States foreign policy. It's time for us to say no. Thank you, but no.
Well, yeah, I'm sorry, America, but we're not. Japan's not your brothel anymore.
Yeah, it's like your bitch.
Yeah, I mean,
it's not your fucking
It became
bitch.
like the biggest brothel for you guys to come over there and have the greatest R&R. I remember watching MASH.
Yeah,
TV show MASH.
Yeah.
And all the doctors talking about, I'm gonna take R&R and Ginza.
Yeah,
the Ginza.
in Tokyo.
Yeah,
right?
man, get myself a geisha girl.
Exactly.
I'm sorry, guys. You guys are losing your interest over. That's what the interest is in Japan.
Exactly.
It's basically keeping an eye on our supposed enemy, China. Why the fuck would we want to even start shit with China? America, we couldn't even handle shit with the fucking little Chinese countries like Vietnam and Korea. What the fuck makes you think you're gonna take on the dragon? America can't.
But yeah, I think it's it's time for it's sad that these people still feel that Japan cannot, that they don't feel confident that Japan cannot dictate its, as a sovereign nation, can't dictate its own path. If we can do that, what wonders could happen. Now America has to cater to us, and we can also have some leverage. At this fucking point, we have nothing. We're puppets, and most of the governments in the world know that, and they're fucking laughing at us.
Yeah, Japan has no respect. Even it gets no respect from its Asian neighbors because of that.
Exactly.
Like even Korea, which is one of its other biggest puppets, still be talking shit about Japan.
Exactly.
But luckily these days with the new generation, they're saying screw these baby boomer bullshit of their old gripes, because basically we know these motherfuckers are talking shit about us collectively.
Yeah,
as Asians.
Yeah, it's just like
there is no such thing as Koreans and Japanese and Chinese globally when we're all Asian, right?
I totally agree with that. Again, as I said, it's time for Japan to step up into that global, to the global stage, not be constantly leashed by the United States. And sorry, you guys, that you feel opposed to Article 9, but please, let's look at now and the future. Not look at what happened in the 1930s and 40s. That's just one fucked up era. I agree with you. Japan did bad. But it's time for us to look now and for the future and see what bigger potential Japan could have if it's its own sovereign fucking nation. But with that, I hope you enjoy this. If you agree or disagree, that's fine. At least that's fine. Let's talk about it under the comments. But with that, we'll talk to you later.
Peace.